What's up, llama enthusiasts? It's Amaday, coming at you with the continuation of how to build better bots. Today we'll focus more on speed boosters and their interaction with bots, as well as crash pads, launch pads, barrier plate devices, and object device gallery items.
Hey! You want to be afraid of somebody? Be afraid of me!
The first track we're going to sample here is a simple 360 loop that uses a ramp that was showcased in the previous video, speed boosters, and I've used the backside of a brick staircase here. You could also use the metal ramp as well in reverse. You can have your bots launch out from a hidden location onto the track, or you can simply have them drop down as I have here. The trick is to try and stagger the delay times from the trick tiles because you don't want the bots on top of each other. This will take some adjusting and testing. I probably should put the top trick tile at 2 seconds and the bottom trick tile at a half a second, thus giving a 1.5 second delay in distance. This will create spacing between the bots so that they're not on top of one another. You'll have to do repeated testing to get the formula right for your map.
We found a friend for you to play with.
Next up, we take a look inside the vault room. I've got several mechanics working here in conjunction. The outer walls are protected by a barrier device which is deactivated upon opening the vault. You can still access this chamber by coming up below, however you have to pass through a damaged barrier, or above, which is protected by multiple bots on tracks. I have 2 rocket bots which drop down from a little cubby hole here with the trick tile. Some of my bots are set to proximity detection, while others are line of sight. Notice the one that is set to proximity I have at a 15 range. I didn't want that detection to be too great, as I don't want them activating and shooting through my map prematurely. With a barrier plate device underneath a breakable tile, you still can't break that tile if the device is touching. Here is a nice clean deployment of the bots using speed boosters, combination of ramps, as well as the barrier plate device. Where I use the barrier plate device, I don't have a trick tile set, as the barrier itself pushes the bot off of the bot's plate and onto my map. In some instances, you're still going to want to use a trick tile to help deploy the bots off of the bot plate, regardless if you're using the barrier plate device or not. But in this particular instance, it worked out that I didn't need it.
It's almost too easy.
Here the bots got stuck on a wall that was placed underneath the barrier plate. I can put a speed booster on that wall to help guide those bots off of the wall should they get caught or snagged. Or I could also, in this case, I end up deleting the wall entirely.
Billy Madison.
Huh?
Would you like to try writing some words in cursive on the blackboard today? How about bunt?
Bunt. B-U-N-T in perfect cursive. Any more brain busters?
Now let's take a look at the speed booster set to high, the crash pad set on default, and the launch pad in a side-by-side comparison. It appears that the crash pad has fluctuations and varying results.
All over here keeps waving outside.
Next, I've created a track that's designed to launch a bot up and over the building. You'll have to do a varying degree of testing and different speeds on your speed booster to get the desired results. One of the ramps is angled too close to the speed booster. A slight adjustment and an increase of distance solves the issue. No changes are made to the rest of the ramps. And voila! Here's a look from the other side. Next, we take a look at bot pop-up. Pop-up. To start, we have our standard bot on the trick tile with the speed pad set to slow, and that directly launches our bot into the crash pad. Now, sinking the crash pad below the floor is a bit of a challenge and is going to require you to do that a few times and to test out to get the right effect. We can go ahead and drop a tile and place a barrier plate device on that. I have the current barrier plate device set for translucent so we can watch and see what's going on, and then I'm going to go ahead and set it to pure black. For the foundation of this building, I'm using flooring from the Indestructible Gallery, and outside of that building I'm using grass tiling. Next, we're using a trigger device set up with the trick tile underneath the grass tile to drop the player down into a basic Vietnamese punji trap. I probably could have used some type of wood instead of indestructible walls to make that aesthetic when you drop down, but the important thing to note is that when you're putting a trick tile underneath a grass tile, you cannot have it activate by player contact. Notice here I have a spawn pad placed underneath the map for testing purposes to make sure everything runs smoothly. One of the issues with the barrier plate device is that it's a little bit taller in some instances than a 1x1x1 cube. Next, we'll take a look at the sequencer, the trigger device, and the objective device gallery. In particular, I'm using the square from that gallery. Here you can see that I have the launch pad, a bot, and a trick tile set up. And the sequencer is set up so that the trick tile, when it activates on start, it sends a signal on channel 1 to the sequencer, and the sequencer is set to start at channel 1. So since the sequencer is set up to receive from channel 1 and start, it then begins sequencing. I then have the square from the objective device gallery set to activate off the trigger that's in the sequencer. You can ignore the second trigger in this example, as I'm using the same sequencer for the other part of the map.
Ah! It's not a liquid!
Lastly, let's talk about a simple process of tying your bots to an item spawner. In this case, I'm transmitting on channel 22 when the bot dies, and the item spawner will activate once it receives from channel 22. I've got a rocket bot and a rocket being dropped from it. You could swap that out for a key card or some other mechanic for your games.
Some fun. I'm gonna have me 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 some fun.
I'm on the hunt for some subs. Go ahead and drop me a like, comment below, and subscribe for more videos. Turn on the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the new content.